When there was an open gap there, the cartel got these keys to these locks off of eBay. So they were sticking their arm through the gap and opening up these locks and then opening up the floodgates and just walk right in.
This is Naco in Arizona, the legal crossing point for those wishing to travel from Mexico to the land of the free. But there are other ways of making it into America. A 30-foot border wall begins just to my left, but local rancher John Ladd say people traffickers have come up with ingenious ways of circumventing the security. However, when we travelled along the wall, we discovered floodgates that had been left open, allowing people to simply stroll from Mexico into America. So as you can see, these massive steel gates within the border wall have been left open, and there's not a drop of water in this riverbed. It's completely sandy, and you can actually see dozens of footprints coming from Mexico over 3 strands of barbed wire, which is the only thing dividing the two countries. And then the footprints continue up the riverbed and on into America. There's even some discarded clothes lying just inside the Mexican side of the border.
When there was an open gap there, the cartel got these keys to these locks off of eBay. So they were sticking their arm through the gap and opening up these locks and then opening up the floodgates and just walk right in. But so then they came back and welded the straps in there. They cut the bottom down here with the torch. And then they cut it up here. And then they pull it apart and get a sledgehammer and break the concrete, and then there's rebar in here. And then this angle iron holds it together down at the bottom. Well, they cut the angle iron and then they just push this one out. So then you have this much room to walk through. When everybody gets through, they push it back, put the 2 pieces back of metal, and it's hard to see.
And how long were they using that for?
Well, this right here, this is the date they fixed them. So it started 2/12. Yeah. Then we had 2/20, 2/26, 2/27, 3/5, and then the last one is 4/12.
So then once they're through, hit the wall, they'd hike across this pretty desolate landscape to the road 3 miles away.
3 miles. And then that's it. So then they come back in, Border Patrol has a contractor, they weld everything back together. And the reason all of these spots, they have cameras, but the cameras can't see. And the cartel knows that, so this is where they come. And as you can see, we don't have a lot of Border Patrol up here. So.
And you were saying how high the fence was?
This is 30 feet.
We are currently seeing a very high influx of illegal crossings from other countries, not only Mexico, but multiple other countries crossing this border. And this wall ends just to our left over here and doesn't start again for several miles. So that's where we're at right now. At this location, we see a lot of people from Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Venezuela. Other portions of the border, not so much here, but the areas that they give up, that's where you see a lot of the other nationalities, from all other countries.
And how organized are the smugglers on the other side of this wall?
They're very organized. They're a well-organized corporation, to the point that they have determining where people are crossing, how much they're going to pay, if you're going to give up, how much you're going to pay, or if you're going to come through corridors like this, how much it's going to cost. To be smuggled here in this corridor that we're standing right here is, information we're receiving is about $8,000 that they would have to pay to cross here. But this area here is quite a bit different because these are the individuals that are not giving up. In Cochise County, we don't see a lot of the give-ups. We see a lot of the gotaways, the guys that are trying to cross the border, nobody knows about, head-to-toe camouflage, and they're trying to get through the border that way. Right here in this corridor here, the wall does end, and yes, they have areas that they walk around, but the issue is it doesn't start again for 40, 50 miles. So there's a huge gap in this corridor that you're looking at that we don't have any walls. So they definitely cross where the wall is too, but they're definitely crossing over there in large groups as well.
Normally, you just see regular folks going across the border, and sometimes they see the camo. There's always on a daily basis camouflage outfits that are discarded all over the road here and along the pathways. And what they do, they just try to make it across, and they have people that pick them up and then take them further up north. Nobody actually stays here. Their objective is to get to somewhere else far away and so on. People come over the top. They drop by, tethers through the barbed wire. Probably the best way to look at the wall is go a few blocks over here, and they got that double, and then they got all the razor wire there, and that's pretty much where most of the people have dropped off. And then just over here, the Ladd Ranch, which is several miles down the thing, he gets a lot of activity, and he's pretty much on the side of the law. Human trafficking is enormous here, and that's the one that basically, hey, if you want to do drugs, that's one thing, but the human trafficking, it's in the hundreds of thousands of people that come across, and a lot of them are underage and so on. And there's even some towns where they go, like around Mexico City, and they grab people and they bring young people up here and get them up on our side, and it's quite common. I haven't seen a lot of the children. I've seen a lot of people crossing over, just the regular moving out, and all along here you'll see the Border Patrol. They do along the wall here. They have the trucks, and off to our east you'll always see those guys along. Now sometimes some of these people are simply coming across because the laws are kind of different, where they actually want to be found. And if you go down there, way down the border, they're just coming across. They cut the walls out, and that you probably have seen that on the news. And all they do is they ship them up. They ship them up in buses. The Border Patrol station's right up here. And for a while there, they were bringing like luxury buses and, wait for these people. And they just put them in the buses, and they just shovel them up into the other states and stuff, all, kind of move them around and place them throughout the United States.
We need this wall. We need a fence. We need something, because we do have an issue. But if you don't change the policies on how these people are crossing and why they're able to come here, and if there's a demand, right? They're coming for a reason. They're coming across. We have to change that part of it. And we can handle, if you go back to what normal times were, we can handle that for the most part with the wall and the cops we have. But I always attribute it to, think about your local police station, and every bad guy in your community gave up at the same time. It would overwhelm your station. That's exactly what happened at the U.S. border. Everybody came to the U.S. border at one time and overwhelmed us. And they all decided to come in at one time. So that's what needs to change.